Please leave a message after the.
You know, when I bring in clips, I try to bring ones that aren't so pointed, especially if someone's very passionate about their opinion. The story is the police officer came home from a long shift, got off on the wrong floor, apparently, thought it was her room, opened the door, saw a figure, shot twice. After she killed him, then realized, oh shit, I'm on the wrong floor, isn't my place. Everything looks identical on this in my block. I fucked up. They didn't arrest her for 3 days. And now she's arrested and she's on bail for, was it 300 million or something like that? And people are just outraged that she actually killed someone in their own house. Own house.
It's
and
pretty
didn't
crazy.
get arrested for 3 days.
It's pretty crazy. Like, I want people to understand, I don't hate cops. I am afraid of them, though. I mean, but to come out and say this, I'm also afraid of firearms. I think I've said that before on recordings. I'm afraid of both cops and firearms. So mostly I agree with the guy, but I was a little confused, like, when the person's like, if the guy had a gun, he could have protected himself, and the guy who's running the show, like, had a negative reaction to it. It's like, what? But otherwise, it's mostly, yeah, I mean, like, if a cop comes to my door unannounced, they're getting shot. It's fucking, it's like, I don't care who you are. You don't have the right to come into my home and
can
make
we
me
talk
feel
about that?
unsafe.
Let's break that open a little bit. This is the part of the gun debate I want to have with you now. So I have you on finally to talk about a gun story. Let's talk about this right now. So you hear this a lot, especially with the shootings in school, stuff like that. You know, what you need is teachers armed with guns. You know, the only way... the last episode, we even had a little parody where the guy went to heaven. He said to God, what do I do, God? God said, the only way to stop a bad guy is a gun with a good guy with a gun. And it's whole, you know, the NRA are always putting it out there that guns don't kill people kill people, and good guys can stop bad guys with guns. And people, like this guy, just reacted, you said, negatively towards that, because he's like, what? But you, and I don't want to get into this, you told me a personal story about a situation you got into, which made you feel like you didn't feel safe. Yeah. So I understand. And when you explain that to me, I understood. I don't live in that culture. I've never had to worry about someone coming into my house to arm with, you know, to stick me up or stand me up with a gun. And that's never happened to me before. It happens even in London, it does happen, but it's so rare. So you have to be in that culture. If I was in America, I know 100% I would get a gun, because to me, it feels like the Wild West. If everyone else has got a gun, why the fuck wouldn't I have a gun?
It's not even necessarily everybody else. It's the fucking criminals have guns. I don't care how many laws you're passing or whatever. You need to link it to how it's going to get the guns out of their hands. Otherwise, all you're doing is making it harder for me to defend myself at the end.
Sure.
Like, if you don't prove how whatever law you're trying to pass actually stops that from happening. And like, there's been some good arguments for like school shootings. Yeah, but like I don't go to school. I'm not afraid of being shot at school. I'm afraid of being shot. The story you're talking about, I was at a Subway. I was at a Subway sandwich place, not a Subway train station. So like, a guy came in, and this all happened within like 30 seconds. Guess what? I didn't have my gun because that's illegal. But this guy came in. I saw him in the doorway. I was off in his peripheral to the side with my ex and her 2 girls. And, like, you know, I can't do anything. I saw him start pulling out a gun from his waistband. Do you think he had that legally? No. Do you think he got it legally? Probably not. So, like, what are all those laws you're talking about doing to prevent that anyways? They probably got it from somebody driving their car into a gun storefront and then jacking everything they could. But for whatever reason, thank God, he got cold feet or something. He didn't see somebody behind the counter. I don't know, but he just decided to turn away or walk away. You know, and I don't care. You want me to call the cops in this situation? How the fuck is that going to help me?
Sure. And I get that.
And then we're about to talk about how cops aren't necessarily even the good guys anyways. This video clip right here, I my own business in my own home. Bam, I get shot. What? I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm not in public, and I still died from a cop who's supposed to be the quote-unquote good guy, the only guys who are supposed to be having the guns. in some people's minds.
Insane. It's
insane.
ludicrous.
It's like
ludicrous, man.
I'm not saying like I don't even know about the teacher thing. I think there could be a way to do it, but they're like the administration is just pushing like every vet should just go in there and all the teachers have guns. And it's like, no, dude, that's insane.
I think that's where people get miffed. I think when they hear that, they're like, I don't want to have a gun. I'm in my own house. Why do I need to? Like, I better have a gun because the police might just come in my house and kill me on a whim.
Yeah, and you know what the sad thing is, like, we're talking about this clip and everything, but it's not like this is the first time this happened. This happens every year. Like, police go to the wrong place, whether they're on duty or not, whether they're trying to, like, give a warrant or something or arrest somebody. They go to the wrong address sometimes, or whoever they're looking for isn't there, and guess what? It's somebody's home, so other people are there, and people fucking get killed.
You know, let's move on to this documentary, because as soon as you show me a cop documentary, I just thought to myself, listen, I don't need to watch a cop puff piece about how they're not so bad and they're just doing their job and they have a hard time and all that. But this wasn't that at all. This documentary, which is called I forgot the name.
NYPD 12 or so. No, it's
Crime and
Punishment.
Crime and Punishment, a Hulu original documentary, Crime and Punishment. It's about the NY12, which is a group of police officers that are exposing the corruption in the police force, that are trying to stick to this whole quotas thing that we need to hit numbers, and they're specifically picking out minority people just to hit numbers. I wouldn't even say making up crimes, that you need to hit these numbers, you need to do what you got to do to hit these numbers. And it's kind of an expose.
Truly explosive allegations.
They're coming from police officers who are part of what's being called the NYPD 12, who filed a class action lawsuit in federal court.
This is not just another lawsuit. 12 cops willing to step up like this, because you're not going to get this again for 100 years.
From the beginning, I saw how this job was. It was not about helping people, it's about numbers.
Who's targeted most? The minority community.
Boom. And all this got dismissed.
Once you start getting arrested, it goes in your record. They taking away jobs that they could be future lawyers, future cops.
Supervisors that are using police officers as a revenue-producing agent for the city.
This system has to change.
We all put our jobs on the line. We put everything on the line.
I was watching a documentary and I really thought it was awesome to see that it really humanized the police as people, because there were people in the police that agree that some of this shit just ain't right and we're going to take a stand. And I think this is one of the most powerful things, again, showing that communication and the internet is so powerful, because these guys use hidden cameras, you know, to get the information. And I don't want to spoil the documentary, even though it's public knowledge what happened to them and how the case went and that kind. It's probably public knowledge at this point. I really thought it was important that the police department, obviously they didn't put this out there. I really thought it was people that are part of the police release this, because it really let people know that the police are people. Because at this point, when you see news that we just read right here, you don't see them as people anymore. You see them.
Yeah, I just see some totalitarian figure going around murdering people in their own homes.
Again.
So it's like they're people too. There's good and bad cops. There's good and bad systems. Just to be specific, you need to understand. I don't think they address this enough, but I think a large portion of why they had a quota system and pushed it and stuff and still unofficially had one is it's New York. Dude, it's made up of a bunch of islands that are filled to the brim with buildings. Like, they can't even really build anymore on those islands. That's how many people fucking live there.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to talk about coming to my hometown, which is way smaller, it's a town. No, we don't. I could never see a quota thing being realistic.
Yeah.
So it's like in very extreme cases, but these extreme cases, a lot of people live here. You know, a lot of people who are minding their own business and shit.
Yeah. And we spoke about Truth is Falling in that documentary, people being incarcerated falsely. You know, it's all related. The 13th, it's all related. I just thought this needed to be made because the police, the people in there that really got persecuted, these guys, they didn't just come forward to expose
they
it.
Got crucified. And they knew it was going to happen too. They all knew it. I'm sure there were like tons of people who agreed with them inside the police departments that they were too afraid to stand with them and stuff. It's, you know, what do you expect were going to happen? I mean, none of them thought they were going to go through it and not be dealt with the way they were. They were punished like 100%.
If you go on Google and you put in crime and punishment and put in Vox have this article, 5 documentaries that show you the social changes happening. I forgot the title, but it shows you 5 documentaries that are really exposing all the underbelly, dirty things, and how people that are working in government, they're actually working in the system for the man, they're actually trying to combat all the corruption, which I think is fucking awesome. So I wasn't in the mood to watch the documentary, to be honest with you, but it was really engaging, and I felt the thing that made me watch the documentary more is their bravery. Like watching them expose and put their lives and their career on the line and being seen as traitors and stuff like that was really amazing to me. And just, it was, you know, when they went, there was a part of the documentary in particular where they went on the, I forgot what station it was. It was the ABC, they went on some news.
I think it was NBC, but yeah, they went up on the public news.
Yeah, and that was when they first came out, and just seeing how things went downhill from there. And obviously the documentary also parallels this young kid that was incarcerated for no reason, and the private investigator goes out of his way to set him free and stuff like that. It was hopeful to show that there are people that are trying to do right in the police force in America. And it was cool, man. It was cool. It must have been really tough for them to get it out there, but again, it was really cool. And I'm glad you, again, a lot of you guys might know that documentary. It's a very top-heavy show, but I thought it's important. Again, all these things we've spoken about today is more to do with the importance of truth and freedom and not being a fucking idiot and just having some fucking integrity, man. It's this world, man. And I feel for you, a lot of this is based against you Americans. This is why I'm glad that I have you on, because we need to hear your voice and you speak on it, because I'm an outsider. It does affect me secondarily. Again, we do have a lot of issues, but you guys, especially with the police and the shootings and the president, it's one thing after another. You guys are having a really hard decade, and it's not getting any better. It's just a lot of crazy shit.
It's like a nightmare I can't wake up from, man.
Yeah, a lot of people, man. I feel for you guys, I really do. But you know, always speak your truth. Always come on here and say what you want to say. Always say, I know it sounds like I'm on the soapbox right now, but that's what the podcast's here for. And again, you guys listening, this episode probably sounded like a conversation between me and Old Boy alone, but no, this is the Voice America podcast. Send us your stories directly. Go to voicemail.com. There's a send voicemail section. If you disagree with anything we said, or you think we're biased, or you think we're not seeing the other side of the coin, send us a voicemail and let us discuss it. Again, I'm British, he's American. Maybe you live in Africa or somewhere in East Europe or Asia, or you have a different spin or a different experience you want to share. Let us know. It's a worldwide international podcast. We want to make it diverse. We want to have different voices on here.
Please leave another message at voiceofmail.com.